live from Royal Oak, Michigan on the Echo Network. This is Odd Musings, and we are your hosts, Brett Pinson.
And I'm Scott Zambelli.
And we're back live again this week. We've got a guest in studio, Joe Safadi from International Minute Press in Plymouth, Michigan. Don't talk yet, Joe. Okay, you can talk.
How's it going, Joe?
Thank you, and hi.
I hadn't seen Joe until a few weeks ago over the years. We'd known each other several years ago, hung out in Tennessee, of all places, at Comic-Con, and so I had to mess with him a little bit here and there.
A long time ago in a state far, far away.
Yeah, definitely.
What stays in Tennessee stays in Tennessee.
Yeah. But at least it's not West Virginia. So.
Yeah, so the history goes back with Joe, but in more recent history, he's the owner of International Minute Press in Plymouth, Michigan, and he's also a sponsor of Odd Musings, so we are very grateful for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is what my money's paying for?
Yes.
Yeah, we had to borrow water and your money went to pay for nothing.
But and we'll be getting more into depth with what International Minute Press does and how they can help people with their printing needs. And,
it's we're real excited to have them partner with us. Scott and I both are now using them as one of our print shops for when we need orders of prints.
And
give it as
for those
local.
For those watching right now, like I just did a print order here, so like I have a new helmet series print that I did, and they did a beautiful job printing that up.
Oh, it's really good. We'll show that on Facebook Live, and then we'll turn to the other camera. We're running dual cameras today, though you can only see one. We've got our Facebook Live camera, and then we have the one I'll throw up on YouTube later.
And then I got also one that's a special. This is a special reward for those who back the Kickstarter. So that'll be going out to people who back that. So
it came out really great. I hadn't seen that print before today, and I think it's awesome. I got one that's coming to me that I need to get signed, so I'll do that. And then
in addition to that, we got some exciting events this evening coming up here at the Armada State Fair.
We got our Demolition Derby with our sponsored car.
Yeah, we sponsored a Demolition Derby car.
That's where your money went.
We have so the Odd Musings logo is on top of this car. It's pretty cool. We're excited for it. We'll be out there this evening. We're going to interview the driver. We're going to live stream from the Demolition Derby itself. So make sure to tune into our Odd Musings page on Facebook if you want to see it live, or we'll be posting the video on YouTube later on at Odd Musings Show.
I hope it's a Pinto.
Oh man, that's what they need. They need to get like 20 Pintos,
and no one wants to hit each other.
Don't hit the back. Don't hit the back.
My daughter was actually out there last night for the bump and run race that they have. It's kind of like a semi-demolition derby, but race also. And her boyfriend's brother was a driver in the bump and run.
Okay. So they're like bumper cars out there, and
no, you got the cars. I don't quite it sounds like they have to do so many laps, and whoever wins. But you're allowed to ram the other cars and get them out of the way, I think. But I'm not quite sure how that works.
Almost sound like you hit a car in the park lot and then run.
That's
well, see, I'm excited that we got to Demolition Derby, because I'm hoping like Pinky Descadero is there. Maybe they get Mrs. Cunningham to tell them to start their junk.
For all you Happy Days fans, a Shark Tank with a ramp.
There we go.
Or someone on the bike.
Yeah. Hopefully this is not Odd Musings jumping the shark moment.
Yeah. Well, if it is, Happy Days ran another 5 years, so.
Okay, so we'll take it. We'll take it.
That should be fun. I'm looking forward to that because we're going to try to live stream some of that, and then we'll do the interviews and have a lot of fun out there. Yeah. Might get a corn dog, maybe an elephant ear. Who knows? It's fair food, man. It's all healthy food. It's not like they got calories printed on it.
If there's no calories printed,
it don't count.
My wife is like, whenever we go to a fair, she's like, okay, let's go get our elephant ear or a funnel cake, and then she's like, okay, we're done, let's go.
Well, that's what I did a couple weeks ago. I went out to the Allen Park Street Fair the other week, and I walked around. I checked some things out. I got to go to Big Ben's, which is a comic shop there I like, and hang out there for a minute.
I have to go there. I have not been there.
Ben is awesome.
Yeah. Ben's a great guy.
Yeah. And but my main thing for going there, which I just walked around, was I wanted a corn dog, and they have a stand there I've gotten before when I've been out there that has really great corn dogs.
Wow.
They hand dip them and everything else. Yeah. So I like all that fresh stuff. There's not no frozen. I was walking around Costco. They're like, we've got frozen corn dogs. I was like, no, it's fair season. I'll go to a fair somewhere. there. I'll pay the $12 to walk in and $18 for a corn dog. I know it's $9.99 for 15 of them at Costco, but hey. So that was fun. So we look forward to that. And then what was I going to? Oh, I went to a wedding this past weekend. We haven't even talked about.
Okay.
Friends of ours, Rachel Kaiser married Douglas Boggs, and nice surprises. I got to share a table during the dinner with.
I'm a little sad Rachel didn't invite me.
She did. Oh, well, too bad. I guess you're not.
I guess you're just more
But she
important
did.
than me.
She did invite. Now this is great.
That's because Brett's name is first when we say Brett and Scott.
Now Scott knows John Leopold. You know John.
Yep. Blasty.
Blasty, otherwise known as the Wolverine Trooper for the 501st. Great guy. I've known him over the years, and that
John was it.
He was excited to see someone he actually knew at the thing too. Besides, it was just me and him. It's like, and then another friend of ours, Kevin Lean, was there with Nora.
Kevin Lean.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
Yeah, and then, but the cool thing was he brought Piggy with him, which is his little Gamorrean guard that they've got all decked out. They've had for years.
Did you look under the kilt?
I did not. I was scared.
You gotta look under the kilt.
Piggy got his own invitation, and it was Piggy sized.
Okay, Piggy got an invitation, but I didn't.
They're like,
it was awesome
in our heart.
It was. I mean, it was this little tiny invitation done exactly like the bigger invitations. And then one thing is Rachel's family, her mom does these mugs and glasses, and stuff like that, etching and stuff like that. So everybody there as a guest, they bought everybody basically their own mug or wine glass. Piggy got his own little shot glass. So I got a picture I posted on my website of
awesome.
Piggy with his shot of whiskey. And then I've joked with her mom forever about the type of mugs they do. They always print on one side, which I can understand. It's expensive and time and stuff. Well, I call it a left-handed mug because if you want people to see the design, you have to hold it in your left hand. I'm right-handed. So my mug, they made right-handed. So I and I saw that.
That's awesome.
And I went up to Rachel when after they got all settled up, we got food, and I went up and I said, "Your mom is hilarious."
Yeah, they're just like, I'm going to shut Brett up. I got to make a right-handed one.
When they were doing it, that's what Dawn said. That's Rachel's mom was like, "Oh my God, we have to do this. Brett needs a right-handed mug with his name on it."
Love it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I got
it
to
was
see
the best thing.
The pictures that they posted online. The wedding looked great.
The great
beautiful couple.
I was there for the ceremony as well as I stayed for the reception through the food and a little bit of the dancing.
When I first started doing Comic-Cons, Rachel was one of the first people I met, and her and Doug are just awesome people, and I pray for nothing but the best for them. And
yeah, I was glad to be able to be there.
That's awesome.
Since about the same time you probably met us when I met him, and we became friends over the years. And Rachel's a fantastic artist.
Doug, amazing artist.
Doug has supported her.
Actually, we did an interview with her.
Not financially, just support her being there and encourage her, working with her, helping out.
Did the interview ever get posted?
I'll have to check.
Double check.
If it isn't, I'll make sure it gets up on YouTube.
Yeah, because
next week
at Motor City Comic Con, we did interview her. We with all the shows we were doing, we got a little backed up on posting things. So hopefully,
we'll get that up.
If it's not up there, we'll get it up soon. But and we'll let everyone know so everyone can watch it because she really is an amazing artist and a lot of talent there.
Yeah, and she's done actually some drawing at Disney. She did an internship there, and she's actually worked at the art gallery there.
Right.
She's got a degree in animation, and she's doing freelance animation right now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's got a lot going on for them, and they're starting their life together. I think it's awesome. They've got a great journey ahead of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I did this past weekend.
Cool.
That was my big adventure out.
Yeah. My big adventure was not foolishly, but I'm reactivating my real estate license and go back into that to help supplement some other income. But so I've been spending the last few days buried in Michigan real estate law. So that's been fun. But it's going well. It's all coming back to me. So it's actually pretty easy. The downside is I can't rush through it because it's a time thing. It's 40 hours minimum of training. So there's a clock on there. So like, even though I know it, I gotta like sit there. And it was like, oh God.
And you go, don't press the button. Don't press the button. I am Groot.
Like
I am Groot. I am Groot. No!
Don't press that button. So
not that one.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
And then there's Scott. He picks up his laptop. He's running to the house. I am Groot.
Exactly. And then another big event this weekend is the Woodward Dream Cruise is going on.
Yeah, that's coming up this week. I'm sure Dominic's real excited about that.
Oh, yeah. Dominic's like, can't leave the house for 4 days.
Yeah. But think about it. They're going to have all that fare food. He can walk up and down the street and get him a corn dog, an elephant ear, or something like that. And then he can jog back because I know he's trying to watch the weight and all that stuff. And, and he's got to probably weigh in, because since was it Western Michigan you went to, right?
Yeah.
They make call. They may need him to fill in, so you may have a year of eligibility here. So.
You know what's kind of funny about the Dream Cruise is when I lived on the west side, it was like, oh yeah, the Dream Cruise, we're gonna go see the cars and stuff. And then when I moved on the east side, it's like it's Saturday,
Yeah.
and don't go on Woodward.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm not. I enjoy looking at cars. I enjoy the classic cars, but I'm not a gearhead. I don't know cars.
I like cars a lot. I don't know anything about them other than I can drive them really well.
And how busy and packed the streets get there, I personally avoid it. So,
well, it's kind of like the quote Randall from Clerks is, I like people, but I hate or I like gatherings, but I hate people.
but I know a lot of people who love going there, and God bless them. If they can deal with the crowd, have a blast, enjoy it.
And the thing is, now we'll be out of town because we're doing a show this weekend. But I can turn on like one of those local channels and see all the cars that way. It's like, hey, I'm at home. I didn't have to go anywhere. And I've got a big high definition television. Who cares? So you see some.
Let's see. Connie the Comic-Con mom just chimed in saying beer. So does she look forward to beer at the Dream Cruise? Is that what it is?
Oh, well, she was wanting a beer, but with her medication, she thinks she can't have a beer.
Right? About that comment.
Beer.
Maybe she. Are you watching The Simpsons right now? So yeah, we got that, and then also coming up. With my daughter Ashley, she's had this issue with her back for a while.
Yeah.
A couple years back when we had the crazy snowfall.
That's right. It was shoveling you were telling me about.
Yeah, so my daughter, love her dearly, but she's not big into working out. And this record-breaking snowfall happens, and she decides she's going to spend 2 hours without. She thought I was out of town for a show. Actually, I was in Salt Lake City.
Oh, I remember
That's
that.
when I got stranded.
Yeah.
Well, she decides she's going to help out finally. And she spends 2 hours shoveling. Well, ever since she's been having these pains and stuff. So we're with our sponsor,
Loringer Family Chiropractic.
I decided, you know what? Because we've gone to real doctors. No, I don't want to say real. That's implying
you've gone to
medical doctors.
Yeah,
I've gone to medical doctors, and they've tried. They've had us go through physical therapy and these other things. Nothing seems to be working. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call Loringer up and book an appointment. So I'm excited that tomorrow we're heading out there and we're going to see Dr. Jennifer over there.
Yep.
And
Dr. Jen's awesome.
Yeah. So,
I've talked about her on air before, and you talked on the phone with Terry, and she knew who you were before you even said your name.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. And she's like,
I'm with Brett on the podcast. Oh, is this Scott? How you doing? And Terry's awesome too. And Terry, I'll tell you, that's where after she gets adjusted a couple times, you may look into a massage for Terry. Terry's awesome on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm hoping this works, and we've tried other avenues. I'm a believer of chiropractic services as it is, so it won't hurt.
I've talked about how much with all my challenges from the car accident I had, and I was like, I was there yesterday. I see Dr. Anna regularly. Dr. Jen fills in for me when Dr. Anna's out of town, and I know both are excellent. I notice a huge difference in how I feel after I go. There's some days I'm like, I feel actually really tired afterwards, because once they get things moving, it can drain you a little bit physically, because your body's starting to repair itself.
Right.
And yesterday wasn't the case. I got busy in the morning, and then I went to the chiropractor, and then I went to the gym afterwards. So I was definitely tired after that.
Right.
But I noticed with aches and pains, my knees especially, my lower back.
Yeah.
Because I've got the hardware in my right hip throwing out. So I'm hoping that with Ashley going in, we can see a big difference. And it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. We'll talk next week too a little bit more about it. Let everyone know how it goes with Ashley. And if you do want any chiropractic advice or looking for a chiropractor in the Belleville or Dexter area, go on our sponsors page. You'll find all their contact information on there.
Yep. And if you're not in the area, just give them a call. They can recommend somebody. They're really good about that.
Now we do have an update. Connie the Comic-Con mom has clarified her beer comment.
There you go.
What she was saying is Dominic would want beer from the Woodward Dream Cruise.
You can welcome down Woodward, drinking beer.
Alcohol does not help.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard Dominic say those words. Alcohol does not help.
Nothing helps the Dream Cruise.
Nothing helps. That'll be the
Well,
best
then
t-shirt.
I think
nothing helps the Dream
without getting
Cruise.
into protesting stuff like that, I think Dominic should set up a counter protest of the Woodward Dream Cruise. I think he should just stay home and drink all day.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, the big thing with Dominic is he lives fairly close to it, so all that traffic and people who turn out, it affects just his daily life being able to go anywhere.
Dominic, I feel for you. I really really do.
Thank you. Send money, everybody. Send money.
Yeah.
So in addition to that, now we have Joe Safati, as we had mentioned earlier, and let's talk a little bit about International Minute Press.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your business. We've talked a little bit about it before, so tell us a little bit about it, your location, all that stuff, and all the fun stuff you do.
We print. That's it. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
It's such an elaborate business.
Yeah.
It really is, though. There's
is.
much more
There
to it
is.
than just printing off
No,
your
I wish it was just
inkjet
printing.
printer at home.
It'll make my life so much easier as just printing. No, we're a full service printing, promotional, and design company. We do everything from prints for artists to designing logos to doing full promotional products for someone.
Right.
You know, like anything that has your name on it, we can get it for you on any type of object. You name it, we can get it legally. You know, the company itself's been around for I think like 40 years.
Okay.
My particular store has been in the Plymouth community for 13. I took it over a couple months ago, so I'm the new owner.
So you have a franchise.
Yes, it's a franchise,
Yeah.
but the nice thing about it is every store is different pertaining to the owner. Like, I know one guy is a big stamp collector, and his whole shop, his clientele is stamp collectors.
Right. So while they have their core business practice that they
Yeah.
do amongst all of the franchisees, they allow you to put your personality into it.
Yeah, every store's completely different, which is a good thing and a bad thing. You know, so if you're like going to one and you go to another one, it's totally different. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? This isn't like the one I go to.
Oh, so this is like that place that starts with a K that we won't mention.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of cookie cutter.
Yes, yes, I'm kind of cookie cutter. We won't even mention that.
All right.
I love them, but they. For us, when I came in, I was going to do my own shop, but then I use them because they can get us the best deals and keep prices low for our customers.
Yeah, because you're able to go in on the volume discounts of
volume
the entire
discounts. So like
franchise.
when say a mom and pop shop can only say you want a tablecloth with your logo on it. One shop may have like one vendor, maybe two. We have access to hundreds.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like getting you the best deal possible.
Nice.
For you, because we just have those connections. There's international minute presses in South Africa, Saudi Arabia. They're all over
I know
the
I've seen
place.
them around.
They're
and the one in Plymouth I'd seen before too.
Yeah. And we go by two names. In Plymouth, in Michigan, International Minute Press. Everywhere else is Minuteman Press, which is, that's a different story.
Because we got Canada across the water, I bet.
Yeah.
International.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Minuteman Press, were they featured on Undercover Boss before?
No, I don't know. If they did, it wasn't me. I wasn't there.
No, I know it wasn't. I'm trying to think where I heard Minuteman Press before, but
Yeah, I've seen them around. Definitely during travels, some places and that. So, and you guys just had your grand reopening
Yes.
last week. I got a chance to go out there and hang out with you for a little bit.
Actually, yeah, it was the grand reopening. We had a lot of people there, and it ended up being like a reunion for a lot of people that went to our college.
Now, because your employees and you all went to the Center for Creative
Yes.
Studies here in Detroit, Michigan.
Which is funny story. When
which
I
is
bought
now the college
place-
for creative studies, I believe.
Yeah, I still call it Center. I don't care what they call it.
I do
Center
too.
for Creative Studies. You can change it all you want. When I bought the place, I had no idea that the daughter actually graduated with me when I graduated.
Okay.
And she remembered me, but I didn't remember her at the time because we were in two totally different departments, but we had the same mutual friends.
Okay.
So then when I took over and I found out it was her, then when I started looking for, we needed a fourth to work there because, to help out. I was doing these interviews and I hired this one girl, which she was out of the food industry. I'm like, okay, but she had some great art and she's awesome. I'll call it to Amanda and Katie. I know you're out there right now. Where you better be working. With Amanda, it turned out she goes, well, I'm going to Center for Creative Studies too. So it was this
Oh, very cool.
Just have all three of us at Center for Creative Studies people. And now they're doing a satellite branch over in Plymouth. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, cool. So hopefully that would drive more business for you.
Yeah, well, alumni. So they're alumni discount out there for anyone CCS.
Yeah, but if they know us, you charge double, right?
Stalker alert. Katie.
Katie just chimed in saying "stalker alert" just for those who are listening.
So, the cool thing is I wanted to make a store where anyone can come in, and whether you're a big business or just individual, and have that cool vibe when you come in. especially for artists.
Yeah.
My big concern always has been, and I've been through it, all of us have been through it. You go to a place, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know anything, and you just now are playing Russian roulette with what you're going to get.
Right.
So, and basically when you tell them all that color's off, they're going to tell you, SOL.
Yeah.
Right.
Here you go, money please. You know.
That's exactly right. I've had that happen where a certain K place, I ordered these prints and I get them, and the skin, like the flesh tones were all like super pink or something, and I'm like, what is this?
Well, the problem is, and this goes back, I used to sell copiers a long time ago, and the problem is most of these places, they don't calibrate their machines.
Right.
The only time they call someone out is when it breaks. They don't call for just regular maintenance and service and calibration, which they should, because it's all included with what they're paying. You know, but so having someone like Joe that one is concerned about the quality, especially for artists, is a big plus to I think the area, to everything that you and I do. Everything else is going to be a big impact for everybody, because I know there's a few of us artists now getting regular prints.
And I know there's a handful of places that do this, and I do it. And I don't know why no other places do, is I will ship wherever you guys need to go. So I mean, I remember I just shipped one to a fellow artist of ours, and first he did a show in Nevada, shipped it to Nevada, then I shipped it to Denver. It's why not? This is the artist's life. You're going to be doing all that other stuff.
A place that we've dealt with before, we had fortunately for Vegas, for us, they delivered there because they were coming.
Yeah.
But we've had stuff shipped to other places, and you pay the shipping. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's part of the cost of doing business. So having someone that, there are places that say, I don't want to deal with shipping because they don't want to deal with it. You got someone that wants to, it makes it much easier on us to want to do business with somebody. So
yeah, well, and that's our business model, is we are traveling the
artists.
country, and to have a partner like International Minute Press that understands our needs and is willing to work with us to provide for those needs is huge.
Yeah. Plus, Joe's gonna be our unofficial whipping boy.
Yep. Can't wait.
Yeah, I know. He's been excited about that. He's like, ooh, they're gonna beat me up today.
If the girls are listening, start raising prices, please, for these two.
Wait, I thought he requested the whipping.
Yeah. Well, let's pick on Joe a little bit more. You're
ahead.
also an artist, and you've got a comic you're working on right now.
Yeah.
So
Finally.
I mean, when I met him years ago, he was doing some artwork. He's got fantastic stuff. When you walk into his shop, he put up this great Jon Snow. Even though he hates Game of Thrones,
I can't stand it.
He went and read all season 8 scripts. I guess they were leaked, so he's trying to spoil them for us. And we said, no,
I did not.
No spoilers here.
I did not read all of them. Just the first one. And halfway through. I don't know if it's real.
Katie says, sure thing, boss, in regards to raising our prices. Thank you, Katie.
But no, Joe's an excellent artist. Not just because he went to the CCS, but he does a lot of cool stuff. And I like the Jon Snow. You put it on a backlit.
Backlit, yep.
So it's a paper that's designed to be backlit.
The one thing no artist knows about, and they should have, I don't know why they don't, but I get it, it's a material called backlit, and it goes into a frame that the best way I can describe it is, the old Coke machines when they lit up and it's all lit up. You can put any piece of art and it just boom lights up. Kind of like almost like a matinee poster for movie theaters or whatever. But the cool thing is, the reason why we chose Jon Snow is it was heavy black, and we just want to see if it would work with the heavy blacks, and it does, which is like really cool. And
it looks really cool. I saw last week at the grand opening.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but
it's a neat little feature to have. It's something you don't see very often, so I think it's a cool thing. But you're also working on your own comic.
Yes, finally. I remember it's been a long time. Life happened. So
you got married.
Then I got married. Yep,
to a wonderful woman.
Yes,
I met her last week. She was awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. Yeah, and she's my biggest pusher to get this book done. I mean, it's probably 10 years in the progress.
It's like, with all of us, and you do these books, and how long it's like the guys who are mechanics and they have that car in the garage that's been torn down for 10 years.
I'll do the quick summary of the journey of this. So all through CCS, I was working on this book, different forms of it, and then when I left CCS, I originally in the 90s. So this kind of tells you how old I am. And then took a break, went back in the early 2000s, finished my degree, still working on this thing because other stuff started happening. And then a friend of ours said, hey, I need you to come with me to help me do these Comic-Cons because...
Bridget's chiming in.
Long time. It's about time.
And that's your wife.
Yeah, that's my wife.
So wife just chimed in. It's been a long time. It's about time.
Yeah.
Getting this book going.
So mutual friend of ours
You can mention Eric's name.
Eric's name, sure. Eric Hodson, great guy. Melby Comics.
We've known him for many years.
Yeah, Eric's great.
Great,
We've
great.
traveled with him in the past, and we've known him for a long time.
He wanted me to help him because his wife had foot surgery, so she couldn't go with him. So, hey, why don't we go together, get some juices flowing? Let's do this. I said, okay. So we went, we did Motor City. That was fun. I think we were right next to Kevin both times, too. Kevin Lane, yeah. So we went to Tennessee. I'm sitting there just working on my stuff in the sketchbook and not really wanting to step out and say, I'm an artist, I'm doing this. I was there to help Eric.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sketching, and then we had these ash cans that we made with people who don't know ash cans. Again, I feel old. Comic artists would do a little comic, a couple pages to get people to buy it to see if they like it, and then
they were homemade comics.
Yeah, homemade.
So
Black and white.
in the middle.
8.5 by 11
Yeah.
folded in half, stapled,
Yep, stapled.
and cheap and easy and ready to go.
That,
In my day,
when before the time of Image. So we did these, and then all of a sudden, people started coming back saying, "Can you do something else for me? Can you do something else for me?" And I'm like, "Okay," but I was like, kind of felt bad because I was there for Eric, and Eric was doing stuff too. And then I remember a guy comes up with a huge binder. And he opens it, and he goes, "Hey, can you look through it?" I said, "Sure." And then this binder was nothing but Poison Ivy.
I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, different artists. He had Jim Lee, he had Mark Sylvester, you name it, did a Poison Ivy, put in this binder. And I go, "Oh, that's cool. What can I do for you?" He goes, "I want you to do a Poison Ivy." Now, I assumed he was talking to Eric. And Eric's like, "Oh, sure." He goes, No, I want him to do it. And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I'm like, so I'm doing it. And then, sorry, Eric, I know you're out there. He was kind of steaming a little bit, like, "Are grumbling?" "Oh, yeah, you do it for him," whatever. Then, after that, I was like, okay, I got to do the book. I got to finish it. Then life happened again. So now
So good.
yeah, it was still excellent, even though, because, for those listening, you go to the restaurant, obviously you're getting it fresh. Here at the studio, they had to drive it, make it.
Yeah, he went and picked it up in Detroit, drive it out here.
Then they had to wait for the segment for where we were talking.
Right, because if you got here 9:30, you already had him. Sometimes it's like, well, it's 10:30 now. It was like 10:30 if we're getting the food. It's like, let's try this. And so good.
But it really is good.
And Connie, the Comic-Con mom, was mentioning yesterday, she really wants to go. We've got to figure this out maybe for next week.
It's in the next week or two. We
have to do that.
I got to meet the Comic-Con mom.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, you haven't met?
I've not met her.
Well, we're doing some local shows here. We'll be posting them on our website, our personal website, Snap. But you have to come out to like Monroe or Great Lakes, and I'll have Connie, the Comic-Con mom, with him.
I have been so out of the comic scene, even book-wise. I think, and it's like, because I remember when I grew up, I went from just like in DC, Green Lantern, to I got really hardcore into the independent when independent wasn't a thing.
Right.
Like my favorite is, I think we talked, was Scud the Disposable Assassin.
It's an awesome series.
Poison Elves, which I still have them. The old Poison Elves.
Very cool.
A really cool one. And of course the Tick.
I used to order.
I'm not talking about the cartoon. I'm talking
the black and white comic.
Yeah, the
original comic.
I used to order that through New England Comics back in the day. I used to order that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had like that. It's so different now. But like I had that catalog that would come each month, and I would love finding all these like unknown comics.
Exactly.
The Tick was awesome.
I remember I used to go to a place. Both of them are gone. God forbid. I went to, it was A to Z Comics in Westland, Michigan.
Oh yeah, I remember A to Z.
Yeah. And the other one was Classic Movie and Comics over in Livonia. They're the only ones that had those independent. So people just walk in, go, "Here, carry my stuff," and they'll just put it up there before they were a thing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when people say, "I read independent comics," I'm like, "No, that's not independent comics."
No, they read Image.
Yeah.
They don't even read. They go and watch the movie now.
Yeah, they watch the movie.
And speaking of which, we have the fall movie lineup here.
We got an interesting lineup coming up. We got some good, some I don't know if it's going to be good, and some what the heck is that crap?
We'll see.
Some titled Unwatchable.
Yeah, obviously, I think the big three for this fall that everyone's going to be watching is going to be Thor, Justice League, and Star Wars: Last Jedi.
Well, we know those are all three going to be huge weekends when they all.
They're going to be huge, even if they're not good. Like I'm predicting on one of them.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be Star Wars, would it?
Not Star Wars, and it's not Thor.
Starts with a J.
Yeah, so we'll get to that story in a bit. But there's so many other awesome ones too that are coming out this.
Well, I'm excited about the new Kingsman movie, Golden Circle.
Yes,
I love that first one.
I've never watched the first one. I should.
Dude.
I know.
Did you like Kick-Ass?
Yes.
Okay, if you like Kick-Ass, you'll like Kingsman.
But I liked Matthew Vaughn's First Class. I was like, I should watch it.
Yeah,
he
did a good job with First Class.
Yeah,
and then it's when you watch Kingsman, the cool thing about it was he worked with with Millar on this from Millar World, which just got a deal with Netflix. And
he sold his soul.
Yeah. Good for him. I hope he got a
yeah,
big
but
check.
his wallet's going to be not just his wallet, but he's going to be in demand everywhere. Like, look at Robert Kirkman. After before, even though Walking Dead was big as a comic book before AMC, you could walk right up to his table. He was at I saw him at Mesa, Arizona for Amazing Arizona Con. You could walk right up to him. There was no one at his table talking to him. He was a nobody.
Yeah.
And the only people cared about was the artist, Tony Moore.
Yeah.
They cared about him.
Well, as a writer, primarily when I do some artwork, writers get slighted at the shows a lot because people are like, "Oh, well, you didn't draw the pictures, so you didn't do the stories."
But you make that deal, and your name is as the creator in the credits. Yeah. All of a sudden, now look at Kirkman. He's a main attraction at San Diego.
Oh yeah, and he got his own deal separate from AMC now, which he's now suing AMC, which is a typical thing to do. I was reading about this, but without getting too much on that, he's now got a side deal for Skybound Entertainment with Amazon.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these independent groups
but
are not
he
getting
can't
picked
do Walking Dead with Amazon.
But he doesn't want to. It's already been done.
It's the classic.
We're going to see Invincible.
Yeah.
They're working on that already. Yeah. We're going to see
and Norman Reedus is going to be the star of all of them.
Yes.
He fell into that. He fell into that trap that I call the Dave Stevens trap. I don't know. Only artist knows who Dave Stevens is. He created the Rocketeer Comic Co, and then he sold his rights to Disney, and then that pretty much ended his career. Not career. He's rich, but he couldn't really do Rocketeer much anymore.
Well, he also got sick though.
Yeah, that was a sad thing. That was like one of my favorite artists.
But that comes down to too. It's how much faith do you have in your own property? Yeah. Do you want to put in the time of promoting it yourself, or turn it over to somebody else?
I think the difference though we're seeing is where Dave sold the rights to it. All these guys aren't selling the rights away from their stuff. They're signing development deals. Which the difference on that is they still retain a lot of the rights. Basically, these networks now become we have to, if we don't greenlight it, you then can possibly take it somewhere else, but most likely they have the right of first refusal usually. So
correct.
I applaud Kirkman for making zombies chic. George Romero made it a thing, but he
even in comics.
Made it
but I started reading the comic when it first came out, and there wasn't that many zombie comics out. And then within about 3 years, it was so huge in the comic world.
But I would say
Henley brought back Image because Image was in the dump.
Yes.
Before he came in.
But the key with him though is it's not a zombie story.
It's not.
That's the secret. See, Romero, he did zombies.
Yeah,
but
he brought it to the genre.
But Kirkman, it's a people story.
Yeah. Well, actually, Kirkman. I would say Kirkman and Romero both. It really wasn't zombie stories. They both told people stories. If you look at Night of the Living Dead, it's about the people more than the
racism.
Creatures.
It's a racism story. Hands down.
Yeah. Well, he had
that is true.
Yeah, he had a black guy's lead in the 60s. That was. And they were like, wait a minute, he's with all these white people. But if you look at like Dawn of the Dead, it was more about that. Now he's done movies since then that were more about the monsters.
But that was the motif. And then when he stopped doing it, and then Kirkland brought in.
Kirkland basically did the Romero style.
He made it cool to like zombies.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which I'd already been in that, and
now it's flooded with zombie stories. Not just from them. Now
a friend of the show, Russell, my cousin Russell, and I both have been huge into zombies forever, and we're excited to see all this new stuff coming out.
But to bring it back on track, I think the key with Millar World though and Netflix has proven, I believe they've proven that they care about the creator's vision of the show to be carried through into the development of it. So I think with him signing with Netflix, I think he's going to retain a lot of influence in how these properties come to life. So
they're not looking to take it and then run away with it.
What was the story he did about the anti-hero? Like it was the guy who would have been like a Batman, but he became a villain.
Supreme?
Is that Supreme? Or
he's not Big Daddy and with the That's kind of Big Daddy and
he kind of looks like Batman, but all white without.
Yeah, that's Supreme.
That's Supreme.
I thought that was Moon Knight. The all white
anything you pick something, it's one of them, man.
But
I'm excited about that because we're going to see a lot of cool stuff from that.
Yeah, Kingsman. It was.
Back to Kingsman.
It was an exciting movie. The first one did great. The humor was so funny.
Yeah, and the cool thing was when I started with Millar was he worked on the first one with Vaughn. This next one, it's all Vaughn and a couple other writers, but Millar gets credit for it in that. But he's like, just run with it. You know the story, you know the characters. They only did the one series of comics. comics. They didn't do anything other than what's collected as a trade now.
Right.
So anything going forward is not. There's nothing in the comics for them to reference to.
Right. Not all.
And we get to what we've seen in the trailer. They're bringing in the Statesmen. So we're seeing the United States side of the Kingsmen. We're also we're following Eggsy, and it looked like they're bringing back Colin Firth's character, which is pretty cool. Even though he supposedly died, but again, they didn't show him completely dead at the end of the first movie.
Yeah,
so.
based on the trailer, it seems like he might be the bad guy. I don't know.
Well, he's got an eye patch, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, if he's got an eye patch, he's a bad guy.
Patches.
But yeah, I'm excited about it because I like the first one a lot. It was one of the things when I watched it, after I got to watch it, I was like, man, I didn't think I was going to like it that much. And I really enjoyed it. Good humor, great action. It basically went back to what...
Not for children, though.
No, definitely not. No.
That was my only complaint. I felt the marketing of it, and I've said this privately to you, when going into that movie, the marketing of it, to me, felt like it was it was like a young teen version of James Bond.
Yeah.
So I brought my daughter, and I didn't even pay attention to the rating. I didn't realize it was rated R. I thought it was PG-13. And here they are, the jokes, like, he's going to stick it in the bum, and I'm just like, whoa, what's this?
Real quick, too. I remember talking about that. I remember we saw Deadpool, opening day, and this lady brought her 2 kids, and they were like 6 years old. And
See, I'm sorry.
7.
That one there, everybody should know because they did commercials and everything else. With
They
Ryan
made
Reynolds,
sure-
do not bring your kids to this movie.
I
This is
remember
not for them.
Funny, I'm just pinpoint on her. Waiting for this. Don't see here. She goes, no, we're leaving.
Yes.
Well, I can't tell you how many kids at the shows were like, "Oh, I love Deadpool. Did you see the movie?" No. And then you get this one 9-year-old. Yeah, my dad took me, and his dad's like, "Well, he sees worse at home." And I'm like, "What kind of house do you live in?" It's a house of horrors.
Another movie coming out
WHR. No.
Another movie coming out this fall, Blade Runner 2049.
Now this one I'm definitely gonna go see because I'm a fan.
Are you excited for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Yes
the
and
original
no.
Blade Runner, and this is one I'm going to go see because I like the trailer so far. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what they do with it. It takes place 30-something years later.
Now, which version are you a fan of? Aren't there like
Final.
8?
Final cut.
The final cut really is the best cut.
Yeah,
That's the one where they take the narration out.
I actually
Well,
had
they
my
started with
wife-
the director's cut doing that.
I actually had my wife sit down when we watched. She bought me the ultimate cut, which had all of them. When we watched the final cut, and I'm thinking she's going to hate this movie because she fell asleep through The Lord of the Rings. She fell asleep through Star Wars, but Blade Runner, she was awake the whole time.
All right.
And then she goes, "I liked it."
The thing is, this is if they had never released the one with narration, I think people would love doing it. The problem with the narration is people go back and watch a lot of times like, well, I like the narration better. It's like, okay, you got lazy because you want him to tell you. It's like when he's talking to the guy and goes, yeah, that's what they call, used to call black people, give a derogatory term. It's like, no, I don't need to be explained, why he calls the replicants skin jobs. I know what he's getting at.
But I think there's something key there, though. I'm not a Blade Runner expert, and I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. But I saw the narrated version. But the studio watched the original version and thought, we have to narrate it because it doesn't tell a story. That's what they thought.
No, see, that's what they
why
thought.
did
No,
it.
actually, what they thought was, and this was in a book I read about Blade Runner, about the making of it. The reason they did that was they thought the audience was too stupid to understand. And their words were actually, they are too stupid to understand what's going on. No, what it is Johnny Hairdo up in the studio is like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
What don't you understand?
Who's Johnny Hairdo?
Johnny Hairdo.
That's a Kevin Lee-nism.
Okay, I've never heard that term before.
We have a little bell, and every time he says something, trademark. Ding.
Is he related to Johnny Bravo?
No. Johnny Hairdo is all those guys up in the studio. Most of them work for Warner Brothers, which we'll be talking about in a bit. And they have no clue about the source material. And they just sit there, they go, I've got a perfect hairdo. I have millions of dollars. And I don't understand this, so give me some narration so I can explain it to me.
The fun thing is, I really want to like the Blade Runner one coming up. I do too. It's not going to be good.
I'm worried.
How involved is Ridley Scott in this?
He's just the producer.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I think he gave insight to it, but he's not the showrunner. But I think he's still overseeing.
I will say I will be giving the movie a chance and seeing it.
Yes.
I'm hoping I like it.
I'm gonna go after they do a Thursday night. I'll be there Thursday night to see it.
Visually, it's an amazing. The original too. Amazing movie. I love the world they created.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see where this.
as we're looking back on Blade Runner, the original one. A lot of people give it crap because there was like 5 or 6 different cuts. You had an international cut. And then they have the director's cut. When the director's cut came out,
Johnny hairdo cut.
Yeah. the 90s version, though, with the director's cut was when they got rid of the voiceover, and the ending wasn't the driving off in the sunset ending. It was the elevator closed, and that was it. You don't know how they ended.
I hated that ending.
The sunset or the elevator?
Drive to everything's happy, and
yeah, no,
we're not going to explain anything. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was even worse than just closing the elevator and ending it. Because at least then you're like, okay, they're escaping. That left it more open for a future movie.
Yeah.
In that, the ultimate cut, the final cut or whatever, it didn't change much from the director's cut.
It was like a melt between the two versions.
Yeah, it blended scenes that had been taken out and added in. So.
I hated that they took out the James Olmos commentating near the end where he told them, like, do you think she's going to live or something like that? Or no, how long do you think you're going to live? I was implying that he knows that he's, if he's, spoiler, a replicant.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we get to find out in this new one. Is he really a replicant? Because that was always a speculation, even in the original source material, is he a replicant or not?
Yeah.
So, because that's, Do Androids Dream Electric Sheep was the original story that Blade Runner was
just like how the trailer teases you when, what's his name, tells him, I have some questions for you.
Yes, Voight Gump.
Yeah.
That should be cool. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got It coming out soon, too.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror person, but this movie, I think I want to see it.
You know what?
It's like Hostel. Like, you don't want to see it because you know it's not right, but you're like, I got to see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a scheduled train wreck.
Even like someone I know has a deep fear of clowns.
I have a good friend like that.
Yeah, and the trailer came up for it.
It's a she too, but I think it's a different she.
But like they don't reveal the clown in the first 15 or so seconds. So she's like watching it all excited, like, ooh, what's this? And then all of a sudden the clown comes up and she's like you have to warn me about that.
It's going to be hard for me to like that clown because I'm used to Tim Curry's.
Yeah. But this guy's looking really cool, though. And he's different enough that he's going to have his own spin on him.
Freaky.
Yeah.
Who's playing the clown? Do we know?
He's not a no name, but he's not a big name.
He's a named actor, though.
Yeah,
I'm like somebody who's done other horror movies?
No, just another actor.
Just another actor.
And that. But the interesting about this, and I think I was talking with Kevin Meinert about it. Yeah. I think Kevin Meinert and I were talking in Tampa, if I remember if it was the right person I'm thinking of. And this looks like it's not the complete story from the book. This looks like this is the part of the story they dealt with the kids. So when the kids were all young, this is when they first met Pennywise. Yeah. So this is that part.
They're planning on making additional movies, it sounds.
Yeah, like. And I think there'll be a second one where
they're adults.
They should be adults, and that should run with this story. They should only be 2. I mean, they could probably do 3, but I think that'd be
Has
pushing
Hollywood
it.
ever made 2?
Well,
no, they'll split the second one in 2 separate movies.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what they'll do. And then they'll do the Godfather 3 version.
Then they'll do the prequel.
Then they'll do the edited cut where they do it all chronological.
Then they'll do the Super Hobbit. We're just going to drag this on forever.
Yeah.
Then they got to have the prequel, and then you have to have the episode 10 where they're in space.
Yeah.
But the problem with those is you lose interest after the second. I mean, literally, with the Hobbit, first one, okay, it's cool. Second one, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching the rest of these. I don't care.
I watched them all. It was the best sleep I'd had in months.
I hope they all die. I don't care anymore.
See, that's how I felt about the first Purge movie.
All right. We got to keep moving forward.
And kill them all.
Back on track.
We only got 15 minutes left.
All right, so it looks interesting. I definitely want to see that.
Jumanji. I will see Jumanji because it's got Karen Gillian in it.
I was when I first heard they were doing this, I was like, okay. And then I heard they got The Rock in, and they're doing something. I saw the trailer. I was like, you know what? This works. And as a sequel, it's a little different. They did a video game version instead of a board game, which I find a little different. But it sucks them into it. So it basically draws them into the world of Jumanji. And it's got The Rock. It's got Kevin Hart, who they play off each other really well, and then Karen Gillian.
Seriously? No comment. Next subject.
Oh, that's right. Your wife is listening.
No comment. Oh, no. She's adamant she won't see it. Nope.
Well, too bad.
I love the first one.
I like the Scottish redhead.
Actually, Bridget just chimed in. Bill Skarsgård plays Pennywise.
That's right. Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's from Twilight. Or not Twilight. I mean...
I was going to say, that's how she would know.
Isn't he from...
Is it True Blood?
True Blood.
That's what it is.
He was Eric. Was it Eric?
No, Eric. Wait.
The vampire?
I thought Eric's first name wasn't Bill for the actor, was it?
I don't remember.
No, there was a character named Bill in True Blood.
Right. So. But yeah, Skarsgård is... What's his name? Eric. You're right. Anyways, thank you for that.
All right.
So we got Jumanji. Now, you mentioned real quick, we didn't talk about earlier, was when we were sitting before the show, was Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
I didn't even know
it's
about
basically the history history of how the books came about.
Yeah.
It's their version of Finding Neverland.
That's what I was going to say.
And it looks like it's shot exactly the same way.
Next subject.
But it gets into the.
I think it's going to be the best movie of December. It's going to break all records. No, it actually looks like it might not be bad, but it's one of those movies that if I don't go see it in the theater, it'll be fine to watch it on HBO.
Then I'll just highlight a couple other movies. Flatliners is coming out. They're
Not
redoing
excited.
that.
Next.
Yeah. And then they're redoing Death Watch too.
Next.
Well, it's like 90% of the movies that we're going to get, they're going to be like remakes.
That's the remake of the Charles Bronson.
Death Wish.
Death
Or
Wish?
Death Wish. I said
Death Watch?
Death Wish is being remade with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But now
Well,
on to the big
same
three.
thing, you know.
Let's do the big three.
Let's do the big three. So we got Thor, Star Wars, and Justice
All right, let's
League.
go this real quick.
Without
Last
beating
Jedi
it
is
to
going to be
death.
awesome. We all know it's going to rock.
Amazing.
We're going to dedicate a whole show to that one.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that.
And
So
that-
that'll be awesome.
We've talked about Thor. We know Thor
I will
is
say
gonna
about
keep
Last
killer.
Jedi though, before we move on. Last Jedi, they are highly recommended. If you're not wanting spoilers, they're warning that the marketing materials are going to give away some spoilers.
And the toys.
The toys.
Yeah,
some stuff has already
I'm
come
not
out,
looking
so.
at any of that stuff.
So you want to avoid that if you don't want spoilers. Thor's going to be awesome.
be
Come on,
great.
I mean the
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I mean Thor.
well, and it's
I'm
going to
excited
bridge it.
for it. I
It's
think
going to
it's
bridge
awesome.
everything
I think
together.
it's perfect because it's tying in what Chris Hemsworth on a personal level. He wanted more of a fun movie.
And
It's
Hulk.
also the Hulk.
Well, the other
Walks
part-
through the whole thing. I love it.
and everyone's talking about how it bridges bringing Guardians into the Avengers, but Hela,
Yeah. Hela, I think.
Hela, she's the goddess of death,
Yep.
and Death is who joins with Thanos.
Yep.
Yeah, because Thanos is in love with death.
So while it's also bringing the Guardians into the Avengers universe, it's also bringing a key villain into what's
Well,
gonna,
it's setting up for the whole Infinity War.
correct.
Which is not going to be settled with that first movie. That first movie is just going to set everything up for what we need for the battle with Thanos.
The first movie is going to involve killing off a ton of people and making it look like the Avengers lost. It's going to be Empire Strikes Back.
I'll call it spoilers. I'll call it. I think.
Well, it's not
Soul
spoilers
Gem.
if it's a speculation.
Speculation. I think the Soul Gem's in the hammer.
Well,
I thought the Soul Gem was what Vision has on his head.
No, he has the Mind Gem.
Oh, he has the mind.
The Soul Gem is either in Hemda.
Well, that would make sense with destroying the hammer.
Yeah, but then why would she destroy the hammer just to show might? I think it's in the hammer.
It is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Badass. Can I say that? Will Brett allow that?
Yeah.
It's pretty badass though that she destroys the hammer with her bare hand.
Because I think that's how.
her bare hand.
I think
just
that's how it
crushes
chooses who's worthy to pick it up. I think it's a sentient being in the hammer. I'm just
Okay.
Well,
guessing.
that makes sense. And with
That
tying
makes
everything
sense.
they've been doing with
Yep.
the gems and that and this stuff.
Okay.
So I know I'm excited about Thor. I definitely that's a
Now
Thursday
let's-
night scene.
now let's bring this train wreck in.
Bridget's also excited for Thor. Is she looking forward to a Thor
She loves
shirtless
Thors.
scene?
Always. Always.
Same with Captain America.
She likes Captain America, yeah.
It's all the shirtless ones, right?
That's the only two. That's the only two. Shirtless all.
All right, and we've got about 10 minutes or
Now
less
on
than 10
to
minutes. So we
Justice
got
Let's do the train wreck. Let's
Now,
just get this over with. Let's
big-
pull the bandage.
The big news that came out over the last few days is that it's a leak source that Warner Brothers had the viewing of the first cut of the Justice League movie.
well, and they're calling it unwatchable.
Unwatchable is
and
what
shocker.
it's all leaks. I know we've talked about this a few times. So we're not trying to badmouth too many things on the show, but
I'll badmouth Zack Snyder all day long.
yeah, but it's more than that. I mean, they brought in Jeff Johns this year to helm the movie, oversee the movie. I think
the
Like what
cinematic universe.
He's like what Avi Arad started with the Marvel.
He's the Kevin Feige of the DC.
He's the wannabe Kevin Feige.
Well,
Did you guys mentally forget Green Lantern?
no, but Jeff Johns he actually understands the characters and the
he knows the
storylines.
characters better, and he's not had as much input into the movie side of this as people think he did.
He came
did
in
better
about
with the-
halfway
yeah.
through the Justice League process, I believe.
Well,
for this
actually,
movie.
like basically last quarter because they've been working on it for the last 4 years.
Well,
Whatever.
Everything's been gearing towards this, and they didn't do anything really to prep it.
Whatever Zack Snyder touches turns to sucker punch. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. Well, like for Snyder, I'll give him credit for 300. 300 was awesome, but it's not a deep story.
Yeah.
Nope.
You don't have to go deep. So it was about the visuals. And Snyder is brilliant when it comes to the visuals. He's a great cinematographer, but he's not a director.
I'll
that's
give
the
him
difference.
this. Man of Steel at first was looking good when we were watching it, and then it was everyone at the same time. Even my wife peeped over when spoiler, If you didn't watch it, good for you. When he killed Zod, everyone freaked out.
Yeah.
My wife creeped over me and goes, is he supposed to do that? I'm like, no.
I didn't have as much, not to relive that, I didn't have much. That part didn't actually bother me, only because the scenario that they did it in, the family was about to be killed. I thought it was lazy writing.
Yes.
But I had so much more issues beyond that.
Dark.
Even if
everything's
it's,
dark
right.
with him, it's like he's emo.
Right.
He's almost doing a black and white film. And
So-
his colors are very muted.
But Zack Snyder has left this film because, unfortunately, while I'm not a fan of how he's doing Justice League, I hate that he's left on these terms because he had a family emergency that caused him to leave. Josh Whedon has come in now to
Trying
take
to
over.
clean up the mess.
But
and
it's
that's
such a short time frame left, and here's the thing, to wrap things up on the Justice League part. We have about 4 or 5 minutes. We can finish it with this. They only have 3 months left to release this film.
Yep.
So, and with a film like this, based on the trailers, it is CGI intensive. So not only do they have to film in time to have the movie out in 3 months, they have to leave enough room for the CGI team.
It almost sounds like they
The
have to run it like a video game. We're only running the environment same time they're doing the filming.
Yeah.
The voiceover when Steppenwolf says no lanterns was entered. Josh Whedon put that in. So before he even came in, it was almost like Zack Snyder had a thing against Green Lantern. Like, he's not in this. He's not even. I don't even want to be mentioned in this movie.
Well, and hopefully, like what they need to do is, I think what we're going to see with the Flash movie is they're going to see Flashpoint. They're going to reboot the entire universe.
Which is bad.
And that, but the problem is, and this discussion happened online when I posted on my personal page.
Flash,
they don't know where they're going.
They've already announced Flash is going to be Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And now I didn't read this. You did. Casey Affleck has said he doesn't believe.
Done.
Casey Affleck's been yesterday was all over saying that no, Ben's done. He's not doing any more Batman movies.
The coolest thing, though,
and it's been rumored for a long time.
I don't think it was confirmed, but I think, but I heard from the place I heard, it's a pretty reputable source. The guy that played Thomas Wayne in the Batman vs Superman, he's going to be in Flashpoint as Batman.
Wait a minute, the guy who played Thomas Wayne.
So they're going to try to reboot everything, and instead of the parents dying
from Watchmen, the comedian.
Oh,
he's going to be Batman. In
the comedian from the Watchmen. That was
how old is he?
Batman, Thomas Wayne, and Flashpoint.
You know who that is, don't you? That's Negan on Walking Dead.
Negan. Yeah.
That'd be stupid. I'm sorry. Everyone loves Negan.
Yeah.
The guy's great as Negan. He was great as the dad on Supernatural.
He has the personality of Negan. But look at his arms.
Personality of Negan.
Look at him when he's got his jacket off and he's in his white T-shirt.
He's a buck 30.
He's a twig.
He's gonna have to start working out now.
Yeah, there's no way
what
he
you're
could be
saying
Batman.
though. If they did what you're going to say, and maybe we'll explore this a little further on a future episode. It doesn't make sense. All they're doing is going to say, "Oh, now the parents didn't die, so Bruce Wayne didn't become Batman. His dad did."
Hold on. In Flashpoint, that's what happened.
But who cares?
But they're saying they're going to keep it towards the comic.
They're not. They're going to say that and then do something else.
No, but
just like they did with Batman versus Superman, they did with Suicide Squad, and
it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
We don't know what direction they're going to go. But the fact is,
if the Joker mom's not in there, I'm done. And you know what I'm talking about if you read Flashpoint. If the Joker mom is in there, I'm done. Forget it.
But if they're already looking at rebooting it through Flashpoint,
that's a bad
What
sign.
does that say about what they think about their own product?
Yeah,
I think I'm insulted. I'm insulted about the whole thing about the best movie they had so far was Wonder Woman.
Yes,
and that they only paid her nothing to do it.
Well, you know what though? Rightfully so. Actors are paid based on what they've done in the past.
Understood.
They're not paid on what they think they're going to do. And what did she do prior to Wonder Woman? She was
furious.
Well, that's it. She was a secondary character.
But now she's got power for going through the second Wonder Woman stuff like that. They want her back, which they're going to have her back.
And the reason why Wonder Woman was so awesome is because Warner Brothers had so much focus on Justice League, they allowed the director to actually make the movie she wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't interfere. And what did she do? She made a Marvel movie. She made a movie where the character was actually hopeful. Yeah. It wasn't a dark movie at all. Yeah. Paradise Island was super bright and shiny. Yep. It was great.
Right. But you can hear all about Wonder Woman on a previous episode we did. But we're getting close to the time, and we've got to talk about T-24.
Yes, T-24.
Awesome T-shirts.
Yes,
they had today. They were at the Boston Comic-Con this last weekend and had an exciting visitor at their booth.
Yeah, Carl Urban stopped by, bought a couple T-shirts from
Oh,
them.
Judge Dredd.
Yes.
Yes, Judge Dredd himself, which is rumored that Netflix is talking to him about coming to their
He was my
series.
favorite Rohan in Lord of the Rings. I love Carl.
You know, when I found out that was him, I was like, "What?" You know, it's amazing how many roles in movie
I
franchises
hated they
he's
cut
been
out
in.
the scene with him where he's holding the king, like the Rohan leader, dead in his arms, and he's freaking out.
So Carl Urban went by. He bought if I remember correctly, he bought the Upside Down shirt from them.
And wasn't the Scarif?
The Scarif shirt.
Yeah.
So Star Wars and Stranger Things. So if you want to be like Carl Urban, go over to their website at t-24.com. That's TEEMINUS24.com. Or go to our oddmusings.com page, go to the sponsors page, and you can go order through there. Use code ODD, ODD, to get 10% off your entire order. And they also do not charge for shipping, which is also a nice benefit. And they also created the custom decals. In addition to shirts, they do decals, vinyl decals.
And they did ours for our Demolition Derby car.
Right, the Odd Musings. It's a 3 foot wide by 2 foot vinyl decal. They put that together for us, and they were able to turn it on really quick. So I'll just read this out here. T-24 is a creator of unique pop culture T-shirts and vinyl decals. At T-24.com, you'll find over 140 graphic tees and hundreds of vinyl decals based on your favorite movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games. So go there.